Dear God, everyone's dead. Hi guys. So, I know it's been a bit. I took kind of a week break, because to be honest, I kind of needed it. I was getting a little burnt out on content creation. Woke up this morning after sleeping like 12 hours, had a cup of coffee, I'm feeling great. So, I like being transparent about the video making process. So, today is Sunday, the 21st of July. So, if everything goes to plan, this video will be coming out tomorrow, Monday, the 22nd of July. So, yeah, with that said, I'm going to share with you guys something I've done on stream a bit. It's something I'm pretty passionate about. I love making rigs in After the Flash because it lets you do a ton of really nifty and really cool stuff that you can't do in most other Roblox games. First few things we're going to need to know. I'm going to take it from the top and teach you everything I wish I knew going from the beginning. You can like move around in a sort of circle motion by left clicking, and you can pan with a right click. So left click, right click. Ta-da. It takes some getting used to, especially if you haven't used like something like this before, but it's relatively simple once you get the hang of it. Oh, that's another important button you're going to need. And this has changed since I last played ATF. Normally, you're just going to enter like creation mode around roughly where you are centered. Like if you see here, this is where I'm standing. So if I press customize, it just puts me in like an A-pose stance here. If you want to get rid of like all the obnoxious other people around you body blocking, you can just press toggle room. Magic. And it's amazing for when it rains and you don't want to like turn off the ambiance, but you want it to just kind of shut up while you're working on your rigs. Just toggle the room. Plus no one can see what you're working on until you finish the project, so it's good for like surprising a friend with something you've worked really hard on. So let's start with the first menu character. This is pretty self-explanatory. They have a couple of pre-made shirts that you can use over here in the top right, or behind me. Let me just scooch on over. They also have some stuff on the left, which will let you change the pants. Like, for example, if I were to change Oceanside Dreamer, and there should be a matching Oceanside Dreamer. Ta-da! Now I have a new outfit. There's about probably like 10 or 15 of these pre-made. You'll see them a lot, but they often look pretty nice. They fit the theme pretty well because they're like commissioned officially by the creators of the game. Here's some other pretty self-explanatory buttons. You've got a set character name, so say if I wanted to name my character Charlie, this doesn't actually change his name. I have to click the set name button, and you will see above his head. If you just want to get rid of the name, just hit set name while it's blank. So that's pretty nifty. Character biographies work pretty similar. Let me see if I can find the other player so I can explain. Yep, there he is. So if you double right click on a player, you can see here, this is where the character bio is. You can kind of put whatever you want here. To be honest, just like a quick synopsis of your character does fine. It also shows some other stuff that I'll probably explain in another video if this one gets enough traction, like about how ATF actually works, rather than just the rig maker. I hate to be like this, but smash that like button if you want to see more. This will let you test out shirt and pants IDs in this menu, and they should not be there if you hit play. And the reason why is actually summarized quite well by this description. A lot of clothing on the Roblox marketplace is made specifically for After the Flash. So if they allow people to like insert it without owning it, it could cause a severe loss of like Robux income for the people who spend a lot of time making those shirts. Yeah, that's pretty much summarized by this. I just kind of put in layman's terms, but this will let you test out a shirt before you buy, just to make sure it fits your rig. And up here is face IDs. These are decal IDs that you can place. So if you find like a decal on the marketplace you like, you can just Control V to paste it in and click set. And then you're able to put that on in RP if you just, you're able to put it on in roleplay if you just press this menu and click that button. As you can see here, it's blank, so it just erased my character's face. But you can also do it quickly if you hold, like, for example, K1 if I wanted to put on the first face, or K2 if I wanted to put on the second face. This nifty little thing, the set shirt color, will let you kind of recolor stuff a little, which is a little overkill often, in my opinion. I mean, if you want, like, a slight pitch shift or something, you can do, like, a light color. If you just don't like the color that you set it to, just enter hex code FFFFFF. Just 6 capital Fs. And it should look like this bright white. Click set. Voila, your shirt's back to normal. Alrighty. And moving on to detail. Here, it gets a little complicated. It's like simple in rules, complicated in how you can use it. So for example, if I wanted to change the upper left arm, which, of course, due to it being flipped because my avatar's facing me, this would be exactly what we're looking at. If I wanted to change it to a prosthetic, I could change it to pre-war service droid, and it has like a little pre-made arm. If I wanted to do this, I could continue on down the arm and replace the entire arm with pre-war service droid. Ta-da! Look at this. And now I have a working rigged, even though it's pre-made by the devs, you can see it's a fully working and rigged droid arm. And it isn't all just prosthetics. You can be like after the Flash has like mutants that are like these like horrifying irradiated creatures. You see, they even have a pre-made arm for them. And if you just want to undo anything you've done to this arm, just press none, which should be at or towards the top. And if I allow you, have your arm back. This will come in handy later in the video. If, for example, you're trying to make like 3D boots for your character and your toe is clipping through in the walk motion, set your toe to transparent and it won't render. So that way the clipping is dealt with. There's also full morphs for like a fully pre-made character, which is pretty nifty if you ask me. Oh, that is just nightmare fuel, dear God. South Point. Here you go, you got like a basic stuff. You got like basic gear for all the factions. Some nifty pre-made stuff. So yeah. Or you can just make your entire body disappear. My pronouns are who, where. I am transparent. I'm sorry, I had to take the opportunity to do that bit. I hope you guys understand. You can also click these nifty buttons, and it'll just, instead of having to like manually select it for each section of your leg, it'll just do it for your entire leg all in one click. So that's something to keep in mind. Alright, so that is most of what it is with this half of it. Here is some other stuff. Scale rigs with character. Let me actually go ahead and quickly grab a hat to put on him to demonstrate how this works. I just put a hat on him, which I'll explain how to do in the next section. There should be timestamps in the description if you guys want to check that out. When you say scale rigs with character, that means, for example, if I were to scale up this head to 125 instead of its default 90, the hat is going to expand with it. That is all that means. Same goes for like your height. We'll let you adjust your height, width, depth. Makes it big. With all those things like put together, you're able to like have a character with a unique build. There's also the very self-explanatory button of skin color, which just pulls up like a color picker that will just, you know, you can just, here you can pick the exact color, and here you can adjust the brightness of it. Oh yeah, important thing to note is that, at least as far as I have gotten, and I'm like level 127, yeah, in the bottom left, I still don't think there's an undo button. So, save and save often. Really do that. Because you can sometimes lose 10 to 15 minutes of like really detail-oriented work if you are not careful. And I know it sounds like, oh, I'll just be careful and it won't happen. It will happen. Look at me in the eyes. It will happen. I did it like several times on live stream on accident where I like tried saving over a slot and accidentally loaded the slot instead just because I wasn't paying full attention. And I lost like 10 minutes of pretty detail-oriented work. So that sucked. Hold on, I just got a very concerning message. So with that dealt with, here's Face ID. This works very similarly to the to this face selection thing we have over here in the character menu. This will just change your character's base like Face ID. I accidentally had it by default set to 0, so I just erased my character's face. That's unfortunate. That's not what I thought plastic surgery meant, but okay. You can just paste whatever like Roblox Face ID you want there. I haven't tested it with decals. I would assume it probably works, but don't quote me on that. So moving on, we're going to touch on the bread and butter of ATF rig making, because these two are settings you're going to spend maybe 5-10 minutes in each character. Not a lot. This is where you're probably going to spend a few hours if you're making a real good rig. This is a fairly complex menu. So it may look simple, but it is fairly complex. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Before we get into this, we need to talk about hierarchies. Continuing on the tangent about orienting, this is what separates a kit from a rig, is all things within a rig have the same weld point. A kit can just contain any number of rigs. So you could pack, for example, if I have 2 of these, say I wanted this rigged to the shoulder. And this was my current outfit. Say I was walking around after the flash with this. Okay, I don't know why you would, but I guess if you like playing Cowboy Sephiroth, that makes sense. But you see here, if I take these and put them in here manually, now their rig point is going to still be the head, because they just joined a rig where the adhered point is the head. So that means they take on those properties. So this is not going to look right, because now it's moving with the head instead of with the shoulder. So now you can see there's a lot of clipping. That is where kits come in. Is, for example, if I wanted this rig to be rigged to the shoulder, if I wanted these to all be in like one compact file I could send my friend, I could just move this rig into this rig and it would create a kit. So you can see, if I click these weld points, if I click this edit button, they have 2 completely different edit points, even though they're under the same kit. And that's what makes kits so good, is you can put everything within a single box to send your friend. And that is where kits shine. You can put everything in a single box to send your friend without having it all have to have the same weld point. Whereas if you just put the models directly into a different rig, it'll take on the welding of that rig. I know I'm saying like a bunch of weird terms. Promise it makes sense, and it makes probably even more sense if you use it and actually experiment with it. The way hierarchies in After the Flash rig building works is you've got a single model right here, and then containing the model, you've got a rig. You can have multiple models inside of a rig, and you can move the model. For example, if I were to grab like a piece of hair, and you can just add new accessories in the bottom right just by pasting in the Roblox ID. So now we have a cowboy with Sephiroth hair. That's very questionable. So as you can see here, as of right now, they are both rigs, but inside of those rigs is a model. So what you do is you can just drag the model into here, and now you have a rig that's 2 models. If you click on the rigs edit button, you can move around the rig as a whole. That's relatively how that's going to work. And then if you have 2 of these rigs, I could put them together. You drag using these little white arrows. If I could put 2 of these rigs together, that would create a kit, which is basically a group of rigs. And kits, in my experience, you probably won't be using too often, except for when you're trying to share it with other people. Kits are just basically just a bunch of rigs, and rigs are a bunch of models. But let's get over the difference between a rig and a kit, because I know you might be thinking, like, what's the importance here? How is a kit functionally different from a rig? And that is a good question, because one of the most important things you can do with a rig is if you press this button on the rig, not on these little parts, because these are the individual models themselves. If you press it on the rig, it'll be named like rig. You can change what part of the avatar it's welded to. So for example, if I delete this old one that's on the head, and I go into the game, you see it's rigged to this shoulder. If I go into the game, it moves with that shoulder. That's cursed as hell. I know, you don't need to tell me. But that is going to be one of your most powerful tools, if you just move it here. And sometimes, like, if you've, like, moved it a little and oriented how you want it, but you've realized, oh, wait, it's on the wrong shoulder, sometimes it'll look a little cursed, because it still applies that orientation that you've put. So you can just change all of these to 0, and then just move it up a bit, and you can just get it right where you need it to be. You can rig these to literally any part of the avatar body, of the R16. What you want to do, if you want to save this rig for whatever reason, you could go down to this slot. You could overwrite it with that, and that means if I were to, oopsie, I just deleted that, I can just re-add it off of this menu. Ta-da, right back. It's like damage is undone. So, this is especially helpful for rigs you like using across characters. If you make like a fancy uniform for a certain faction, and you have multiple characters in that faction, you might want to save a rig of that uniform, or even a kit. This moves us on to the next important part, and that is going to be Renaming. You need to be organized from step one if you want to keep this easy for yourself. And it's not that it makes it impossible if you're disorganized, it just makes it a pain. So if you click here in the top right, look, now you have the ability to just type in whatever you want. So say I wanted shoulder hat. So now this rig is named shoulder hat, and this one is named head hat. Ta-da. And then if you go in here, for example, if you just hover over a certain model, it'll highlight it and tell you which one it is. So this, I could just be, well, this one's already well named, but a lot of outfit developers don't actually, for example, if you look at the Sephiroth here, a lot of modelers don't actually name their files. So this is just accessory, mesh part accessory. Sephiroth. Make sure you're organized. For example, okay, let me open up my guppy. So, for example, if you look here, this is my guppy. His name is Leviathan. I know he sounds scary. He is not scary. He is 2'3". He is a little dude. He is just a silly little dude. This is a rig I literally made yesterday. It was off stream. For the most part, I have named most of these. And some of them I haven't done a great job. But you can see here, this is the anglerfish lure, which is the combination of this object, which is an anglerfish lure accessory right here. You can see that. In addition, you can see this circle is actually made up of 3 parts. Orange is the outermost, and then you've got white, which is the innermost. These are 3 circles. I don't need to tell you guys that. It's these 3 circles all interlaid on each other. You'll notice each consecutive one is slightly bigger than the last. This is an example of what I would call good organization. Because sometimes, for example, if you look at these circles, you can see I have them named like orange, white, and yellow in their order. You can see here, it's kind of hard to tell which one I'm highlighting. Except for the orange one, because it's the outermost one. It's hard to tell which one I'm highlighting. So I can tell which one I'm highlighting without having to, like, pull it out. If it's wrong, reload the rig. It's much more convenient. This gray button adheres to the rig, because you can see this is named for the rig. This will duplicate the rig. This will save the rig. This will let you edit the rig as a whole, edit the translation in the universal scale, which means, like, it will let you scale down the entire rig together. Otherwise, you're going to have to scale down this entire rig manually, just by doing this. And this also lets you rotate the rig as a whole. And please note, kits do not have this luxury. Kits do not let you rotate the entire thing, because remember, they adhere completely differently to completely different body parts. If I wanted to edit one model by itself, I would click this little yellow wrench under the model's name, and it would be red to show that I've been selected, that it has been selected. If you see here, we have a lot of buttons. And you can see the name in the top right. Of course, as we went over earlier, you can edit it just by clicking. So there are some hotkeys. If you press R or click this button, you can edit the rotation of specifically that hat. There's also some buttons you can put down here. If you just want to return it all to 0, just return it, put 0 in for every number. In addition, an important thing to notice is the difference between axis local and axis global. So, for example, if you notice, if I rotate this hat kind of weirdly, the translation is going to be off for it, which might make it a little hard to work with. If I wanted to move it, like, straight to, like, cardinal east, that would be difficult, because of the way it's rotated. It's trying to move the way the rotated hat would, because it rotated the axis with it. But if I wanted to make that easy, I could just switch to axis global, which just uses the global poles and allows me to just do this. And I could switch between them at will. Oh shit, I don't think that's supposed to happen. So, yeah, this is going to be your bread and butter. And remember, if you're trying to, like, add an accessory that you like, look at this link, for example. This is, like, the link of the Sephiroth hair I got, right? So if you're wondering what to input, this is not important here. So you can just ignore that. And this is not important. This is what's important to you, is those numbers in the middle. So if you're just on the website, you can just click these, copy. If I go to advanced, add new accessory, paste, boom. new Sephiroth hair. There is some other important stuff to know. If you don't like the color of the hair, for example, you can set the texture to 0. This is a little business trick. And you see, now it's lost its texture. If I were to recolor it hot pink, it would now be hot pink. Because now it doesn't have, like, the hair texture on it. I can make it whatever Roblox material I want. But what's even better than that is there's several, like, resources out there on Discord. The main one I use is Retextures. And they quite literally just do what they sound like. They just post retextures. Like, for example, I could find, if I want to pull up, go into Retextures Discord. Let's say I wanted to make the Sephiroth hair blonde. I would copy that texture ID, go down here to where it says set texture, paste that in, set texture. And now we have blonde Sephiroth. For some hairs, it doesn't, like this one, it doesn't translate very well because the hair has a very convoluted model. But if you use like a simpler hair, it would translate a lot better. The way transparency works is also pretty cool. This is an important trick. And this is how I made the anglerfish lure. Is, for example, 0 is the default transparency. It means an object is visible. If I set it to 1, the object is invisible. So you can put any number in between there, and you can see if I put 0.2, it's mostly visible, but it's starting to lose its tangibility. Put to 0.5. Now it's really starting to be ghostly. If I put it to 0.9, you can... Oh. If I put it to 0.9, you can barely see it. And if I put it to 1, it's like it's not even there. So, use that. These are going to be your main tools, and reset texture is just going to put it back to whatever the model's default texture is. So yeah, those are going to be your best friends. These pre-made kits and pre-made rigs are going to be stuff made by the devs. Again, keep in mind, everyone has it, so they can, you know, you kind of see them a lot, so do have that in mind. And just stay organized and have fun. Most importantly, that's what ATF is all about. Now, for the next thing you'll have is you're going to have the tool bench. And the tool bench is really cool. The tool bench will let you equip like tools to your character. For example, they've got like pre-made handguns. I have a few because I've gotten during the holidays they release like gift boxes that are kind of like mystery gifts that open like a month after the holidays end. So you see here, if I equip the capper, the capper has a lot more customizability than most like base pistols will be because of course, you know, I paid for it, so they're going to put a little more detail into it. You can customize it however you see fit with whatever stuff you have. I could put a rusty suppressor on it, weighted slide. No, let's put the other slide on it. I can customize it. Put a flashlight. You see, sometimes it clips and doesn't work super well, and then I'll put a polymer grip on it. Now, I'm going to want to press equip here. Boom. If I want to, this toggle attach points just lets you look at the gun without having to, like, you know, see all the dumb. Hey, you can add something here. This will just entirely hide the GUI. And this will let you, like, save the gun as a preset with all the accessories you currently have on it. And also, keep this in mind, because this is a mistake I made when I was newer to the game. If you customize it a bunch, and then press equip over here, it will not save. You have to press this equip button to get it added with, you have to press this equip button to have the one with your attachments get added. So keep that in mind. If you do it from the side menu, it'll just add the base capper. And as you can see here, I have a fully customized capper. And here's a bunch of commands or controls I can use. I can activate a laser. I can chamber it just to chamber around. I can just keep doing it. This is incredibly satisfying. I love just doing this. I can relax, which makes it so that way, you know, I'm not pointing at anyone, and if I click, it doesn't fire. And I can, of course, press R to reload. It's pretty cool. And, if I have the safety on, I can even have it pointed, but if I just click, this is good for, like, RP combat scenarios, so when you're just, like, trying to, like, pan around, you're worried you'll accidentally click. You can just turn on your safety, even if you don't, like, in combat, just to make sure you can, like, you know, not accidentally click and fire off a round and scare the shit out of everyone. Do keep in mind, though, like, this doesn't do damage. This game doesn't use damage systems. Everything is entirely roleplayed. So, like, if you just light someone up, they're not going to, like, take, like, Roblox health bar damage. And there's also tons of other stuff like utilities, chem lights, chest flashlights, spy glasses. I mean, of course, most of these are DLC and stuff, but some of these you'll just get like by exploring. That's how you can get the Second Sun soda stuff, or you get the water bottle for free. You know, it's just all for just chilling, having fun. Garage, I honestly can't really show this off because I don't own any of the vehicles, but I expect there are more coming soon and that you can probably customize them. Yeah, because there's a attach points menu, so I'm sure you can attach stuff. Data, this is where you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 15 slots. You can have 15 slots. This will just save everything in and on your character. Currently, there's a bug about saving. These are 15 save slots that you can use to just save your characters. Thank you guys for watching. This is criminal, absolutely criminal. But thank you guys for watching. This was a lot of fun to make. What is this, like probably 39 minutes if I had to guess is the runtime? Oh shit, it's been 55. That took me a while to record. That was pretty long-winded, but I had fun. And I hope you guys will enjoy this as I did. It'll probably be like 10, 20 minutes once I actually cut it down. Because I went on some tangents for some of that. But yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff with this game, and I would love to share it with y'all. Take care, y'all.